The Sephora Fall Savings Event is upon us, and you guys asked for my recommendations when it comes to skincare, hair care, makeup, accessories that you can pick up at Sephora during the sale. I'm also going to share some of the things that I want to snag so that I can get a deal too. So if that sounds interesting to you, keep watching. If you're new here, welcome to my bathroom. I'm Dr. Sam Ellis. I'm a board-certified medical and cosmetic dermatologist in Northern California, and I love all things beauty, skin, hair, nails. I love educating about it and sharing all of my tips, tricks, and recommendations. So if that sounds good, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel and stick around. I'm not going to share my entire Sephora wish list with you because that feels like TMI. Plus, if I haven't really vetted the products myself yet, I don't feel good about recommending them, but I figured I would share like the two things I'm looking the most forward to picking up, which are the Tatcha eyeshadow glam palette. I've just been going to like a few more events lately, and I wanted something with more sparkly options for the eyes, and that just seems like a gorgeous palette and has come highly recommended by a couple of makeup artists whose opinions I trust implicitly. And then I'm also going to pick up the Givenchy concealers. I wanted to grab these a really long time ago. They're finally back in the shades that I want, and I might not even wait until the sale to get those because I would be really mad if they sold out of my shade again. All right, let's get into my recommendations. I'm starting with makeup because honestly, makeup is the thing that I look the most forward to picking up during the Sephora sale. I try a ton of makeup. I am super picky about it. And so anything that I'm going to share with you today is like holy grail status. Also, I feel like as a dermatologist and really just as like a non-makeup artist, I'm coming at my opinions about makeup from a different perspective than a makeup artist. A makeup artist can make even the worst concealer and worst eyeshadow palette usable and probably even beautiful, whereas I am not a makeup artist, so I need my makeup products to be doing all of the heavy lifting for me. I feel like when I apply my makeup, it needs to be like an effortless situation. I shouldn't have to blend it really hard. I shouldn't have to work it into the skin. It needs to just like look amazing as soon as I apply it, even though I'm not a professional. And so that's why I think these products are particularly special. I'm going to start out with my complexion or like face product recommendations. I think I'm the most picky about I'm kind of picky about everything, I'm not gonna lie. But as a dermatologist in particular, I think it is so important that my foundations, powders, concealers look skin-like and just blend beautifully into the skin, because I cannot be at a party, an event, whatever, introducing myself as a dermatologist and then looking up close at my skin being like, well, why does her makeup look so freaking cakey? Or why are all her fine lines accentuated? So I need this to be like a perfecting situation. I'm pretty confident in my skin even without makeup, but if I'm going to an event, of course I'm gonna have some foundation on and I want it to still look like my skin. And my go-to foundation for events, weddings, etc. has been the Lancome Tint Idole Ultra Wear. This is the one with like the matte finish. I thought I wouldn't like a matte finish like foundation because I wanted things to look glowy, but it is like, it's not that matte. It's just skin-like. It's beautiful and it is so long wearing. And that is the other thing I forgot to mention that I think is so important to me when it comes to like foundation is that I need it to hold up. I'm not wearing foundation every single day. So if I'm putting on foundation, I need it to last, be consistent, not be breaking up on my face. And this is just gorgeous. So this has SPF 25. I'm not using it for its sunscreen benefits at all. I love how creamy this is. When I'm usually applying it to my face, I use either a beauty blender or a foundation brush. And I like that it stays wet enough that you have time to kind of work it into the skin, but then it dries down completely. And this is my go-to when I need like medium to full coverage. It builds really nice. Of course, when you have any medium or full coverage, if you are like right up close in someone's pores, you're gonna see the foundation to some degree, but if you have to be on camera, photography, long lasting for wedding, if I'm going to like a conference and I need my skin to just look like flawless if I'm going up on stage, whatever it is, like this stuff is so, so good. And then I have two concealer recommendations. I'm not actually wearing any foundation right now. I just have these two concealers blended basically all over my face. I feel like it gives a really nice skin-like finish, again, with some good coverage. So first is the Tower 28. This is like their serum concealer. Launch of the year. I mean, I feel like this is something that everyone has fallen in love with, and for good reason. It is such a stunning formulation. It's so creamy. Again, like blends so effortlessly on the skin. This is shade EP. I actually want to pick up the shade lighter than this, which I think is like DTLA, but I would say it leans a little bit warm, but I just love this. I think it's great for like spot concealing if you have an exact shade match, or kind of using all over as like a light foundation. There are a few like skin tints or tinted moisturizers that I kind of like, but honestly, if I'm going for like a really light makeup look, I usually like to just take a couple of different concealers in different tones and just kind of blend them all over the face. Which brings me to my other concealer recommendation, which I've talked about before. This is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter, and I am shade Coconut Flakes, 2.7N. This is it sounds kind of gross to say, like a wetter formula. Like, it's super full coverage, but you can actually blend it. And you can see this was lighter than the Tower 28 that I just had on. So I will often use this more like for under eye brightening, some kind of highlighting, and then I'll use like a slightly darker concealer on the periphery of my face. I think that this concealer with the Lancome like underneath it, this to me is such an amazing pair. I mean, they just look so good together. I'm gonna move on to bronzer. It's by Hourglass. It is their ambient lighting bronzer in Luminous Bronze Light. Holy Grail bronzer. It is so stunning. I have used this like every day this year and I have still not hit pan. I don't know if this is just like an infinite amount of bronzer in here, but it's what I wear pretty much every single day in clinic. What I love about this bronzer so much, oh my God, the packaging is disgusting because I'm just putting my grubby hands all over it all the time, is just it has this slightly pearlescent quality to it without being shimmery. I don't know if it's showing up there, but I actually like that it's not showing up there because this is bronzer for idiots, bronzer for dummies, whatever you want to call it. Especially if you have fair skin, I feel like it's so easy to lean too orange, give too much like snooky vibes if you don't know what you're doing with your bronzer. And what I love about this is like you can't over apply it. You can really build it if you want to. What I usually do is I have like a Real Techniques brush here, just a huge fluffy brush, and I'll just like really lightly kind of like swirl it in here, shake off any excess, and then I will just like dust it around the periphery of my face, my cheeks. It just gives this beautiful bronzy lit from within without looking too harsh. The other thing I love about it is it has this like beautiful blurring effect. It almost like puts a filter on your face, and it's what I love about a lot of the Hourglass powders, like their blushes, their ambient lighting palettes, like all of them just give this beautiful finish to the skin that looks good on camera. It looks good in person. This bronzer is phenomenal if you have kind of like fairer complected skin like me. Ooh, okay, before I move on, I also want to say this is beautiful on the eyes. It's the eyeshadow that I'm wearing now. I would say if you are not great at makeup and you want your makeup to look more cohesive, one of the easiest things you can do is wear similar tones throughout, whether that's like the similar color on your lips and your cheeks or your bronzer in your eyes, bringing them together into one look. So it's very common for me to apply whatever bronzer I'm using onto my eyelids as well. And this is the one I use the most often. I don't wear a ton of eyeshadow on a regular basis, but I feel like bringing a little bit of bronzer up to the eyes just makes everything flow and makes the makeup look a lot more natural. Okay, next up I have a blush recommendation. I'm pretty sure I've recommended this before, and I'm kind of embarrassed to show you the packaging because I have just used and abused this cream blush so much, and you guys, I feel like you're gonna judge me. But anyway, it is the Tower 28. It's their Beach Please kind of like lip and cheek cream thing in shade Magic Hour. I find that products that are marketed as like cheek and lip things almost always perform much better on either the lips or the cheeks. To me, this just performs so beautifully on the cheeks. It's long lasting, which I feel like for cream blushes can be kind of tricky to find, but the packaging, the reason it looks like this is because I will often dip in with my blush brush and then I will like buff it out on the lid right here if I don't want to like get my hands all nasty. And so I use this as like a blending palette, and then I'll go in on my cheeks. It's what's on my cheeks right now. I think it is such a beautiful rosy nude. So it's on my face right now, so you can kind of see it, but sometimes I feel like the light's kind of get rid of it. So that is the color. It is so gorgeous. So the other cream blush that I've been using a lot is by Nude Sticks. It's their Nudies Matte Plus Glow Core, and I don't know if you'll be able to tell because I use this a lot, but there's like blush on the outside and then like a shimmer kind of core to it, which blend together when you apply it, but obviously it looked a lot prettier when I first opened it. So this is the shade Rose Glow. I'm just a sucker for anything with like rose in the name, and I love that, especially going into fall where I want like mauve-y, rosy, romantic tones. Like this is so, so beautiful. And because it has that glow core, you just get like, again, the tiniest bit of shimmer. I'm not a glitter gal. I don't want to be like glazed donut makeup, but I do want a little bit of life to the skin, and I feel like this really accomplishes that. And again, it's like long lasting for a cream blush, which I really appreciate. And then the final complexion product that I'm going to recommend is a powder. I don't know why it took me so long to buy this because it is so good, and it is the Givenchy Prisma Libre setting powder. I have the shade 3, which is like the pinky toned one, which is what they recommend for if you have lighter skin. It is so finely milled. I will often just take like a big fluffy powder brush and just kind of dust it everywhere. I'll also use this for baking under the eyes. I usually take like a little powder puff like this and just sort of like work the powder into the puff and then press it under the eyes. But it's gorgeous. It gives such a nice like luminescent veil to the skin without looking powdery, without looking cakey. It is everything. One thing that I think is worth mentioning is this does have a slight rose scent to it, and I usually hate the smell of rose. Like, I know that's a polarizing opinion, but I do not like really florally things, but this is a very light, sweet rose scent, and I will say once you apply it, that scent really dissipates, so it doesn't bother me at all, and I will be the first person to be bothered by a floral scent. Before I move on to makeup, I did want to give a shout out to a couple of brushes that I think you can pick up at the sale. I just pulled these out of my travel bag. They're both by Hourglass. I'm obsessed. This is their foundation brush and then their little angled concealer brush, and I just love how densely packed these bristles are and how soft they are. So when you're buffing in foundation, it's not streaky. And then because it's angled, you can kind of like get into all the little parts of your face, and anything that you can't reach, you can go in with the angled concealer brush and just kind of like tap all in there. And I think these are just so wonderful. Let's talk about lip products for a second. I'm always gonna have lots of recommendations for these because I am a lip product connoisseur. I buy it all, I try it all. One is the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balms. Yes, you could buy the individuals, but they, for the first time, I think are having like a mini kit with 4 of like their top shades. And this is what I'm telling you to get. If not for yourself, for a gift. They will almost certainly sell out, you know, for the holidays, and you get like 4 of them for I think like 25 bucks, and then plus whatever sale you're going to get on top of that. So I think this is like amazing to pick up, maybe even in bulk for gifts, whether you're like going to someone's house last minute around the holidays, or for a teacher or a girlfriend or whatever. I just think they are such nice, versatile lip balms. They have a little bit of color to them. They're really nourishing on the lips. They're very comfortable. The little minis are so freaking cute. So that's my first rec. My next 2 lip product recs are both from YSL. They're slightly different, so I will talk about both of them. But I think luxury beauty is such a nice thing to get, 1, on sale, and 2, just as like a treat for yourself. I mean, you cannot tell me that if you pull this out at a party, you don't feel like such a little classy bee. I mean, the tube, everything, it's like, it's not just about the product, which is amazing in and of itself, and I'll talk about it in a second, but like the packaging, just, it's the vibe. First in the silver tube are their Candy Glaze lip gloss sticks. I think that's the name. This is like if a lip gloss and a lip balm had a super posh baby. And these come in a lot of colors, but the one I use the most is actually this sort of like pinky clear color. It's shade 2, and I love wearing this on its own. It's incredibly comfortable and nourishing on the lips, but I love using it over whatever color I already have, or if you have like a more matte lip going on, or even like just a little bit of lip liner on your lips, you need to refresh it. This is amazing. I feel like if you are low maintenance, but you kind of want something a little bit fancy, this is so, so nice. And then sort of like the big sister version of that is their Rouge Volupté. I'm gonna say this totally wrong. It's their Shine Lipstick Balm. So the other one was like a gloss and a balm. This is like a lipstick and a balm. So more pigmented. I love this color. This is shade 9, which I think is like their nude color. Gorgeous. I mean, I obviously have an affinity for this type of palette, but it just looks so beautiful on the skin. You can see again that it's got like a little bit of that balmy texture to it. And I feel like if you are afraid of lipstick, where it just feels like too much of a commitment when it comes to pigmentation and how intense that is, this is a really nice hybrid where you get some color deposit on the lips for sure. Like that color is there, but it also has that balmy texture, and it also wears off really nicely. Like I find that it doesn't get patchy as the color kind of fades. It just sort of naturally disappear. So I think this is amazing for like parties, or if you just kind of want something to wear in clinic. Well, I don't know how many of you watching this go to clinic, but at work, whatever it is, my work is a clinic. And then I have a true lipstick recommendation. The Merit lipsticks in general all shades, amazing. But going into fall, this one, La Avenue, is what they describe as a berry brown. I just think like this is your fall color. It is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I just think that is such a gorgeous color. It's such a comfortable formula. It's long lasting. If you have a slightly lighter or fairer skin tone, I recommend the shade Slip, which is like a warm neutral, but Merit makes excellent lipsticks that they pretty much never put on sale on their website, so picking it up during the Sephora sale I think is the right move. I could not finish up the makeup section of this without recommending the Kosas Brow Pencil. I don't know if this is a new launch or just new to me, but this is their Brow Pop Dual Action Defining Pencil, and ever since I got this, I have not really touched another like eyebrow pencil at all. So it has this really tiny tip, and it's just the perfect amount of waxy. Like when you go in, it doesn't deposit too much color, which if you're like a makeup noob, you don't want something that's too soft because you end up going in way too intensely with the brows, but you don't have to work it so hard into the brows. Let's see if I can show the color here. This is like the taupey shade for blondes, so you do have to put some pressure on, but I think the color is amazing. And then I like how tiny that tip is. What I really like about it, which, you know, I don't really want to like go off on a spoolie here, but the spoolie here is so dense that what you can do, and this is soft enough that when you want to kind of like rake it through the brows, it's what's in my brows now, you can actually press the spoolie all the way to the skin and really drag this pencil product up through the brows to give a really feathery kind of light-handed finish. You don't have to do that. You could just use this to brush your brows, but I actually like to draw my brow on and then drag the product through the brows. To me, this very much gives like girl next door brows, which is like, oh, who, me? I just have these beautiful fluffy brows. And so that's kind of what I do. I will set it with a gel afterward, but if you have not tried this, highly, highly recommend. Okay, I'm done with makeup, and this is actually how I always look when I leave Sephora, so this feels appropriate for the video. I do have a few skincare recommendations, but to be honest, I don't do a ton of my skincare shopping at Sephora, but I do have a few things that I will recommend. So one, and you've seen me recommend this before, is by Skinfix. It is their Barrier Plus Triple Lipid Peptide Cream. I just think this is a great moisturizer, especially if you have really dry skin. Some people like a pump like this, some people don't. I kind of like a jar pump like that. This is a super rich, like emollient, dense cream. So I feel like going into winter, if you're looking for like a not crazy expensive moisturizer, but something that feels very luxe and high end and really like locks in moisture, I feel like that one's really nice. And I'm gonna sound like a broken record here, but obviously another moisturizer that you guys know I'm obsessed with is the Tatcha Indigo Overnight Repair. I mean, I know, I just, like I can't even open the jar without being like, oh my God, it's amazing. Like vanilla pudding, so beautiful, serum and cream. The one thing I will say is that Tatcha tends to have like pretty good sales around the holidays, so I don't know if I would pick this up at the Sephora sale. I might wait till like the Tatcha sale because you might be able to get some other like goodies with that. I know that's very counter to this video, but like, sorry, I said what I said. Another skincare product that you could pick up during the sale that I think would be really nice is the Necessaire Body Retinol. I've spoken about this many times before. I feel like your body's a little bit neglected. Like we're all about the retinoids and the exfoliants on our face, and then our body skin is like, hey, what about me? I'm getting kind of crepey and saggy also. So having something like a body retinol I think is amazing. This also has alpha hydroxy acids. Oh, I cannot pump that with one hand. I'm too slippery from touching all the other moisturizers. It's kind of like this plushy, creamy serum, and you can apply this like head to toe. It's 0.1% retinol, which is like a good concentration, and then a 10% blend of alpha hydroxy acids. I think it's glycolic acid and maybe mandelic acid. I'll have to double check. But this is really nice if you're trying to kind of like up your body care game and you want some actives in your body care. Grab this. Okay, I do have one other skincare recommendation from Sephora, and it's actually not something that I purchased at Sephora, but so many people in my clinic, like my medical assistants, love it, and I know so many people who don't normally like sunscreen love this product, and it's by Supergoop. It's the Unseen sunscreen. This is the sunscreen that has almost like a primer-like feel to it, so it's almost like silicone-y. It's very plushy, it's very mattifying, and it really is nice under makeup. And so for people who don't like the traditional like cream or lotion type sunscreens, I find the Unseen sunscreen is such a hit. Also, like with the guys, they love this because it's not like, you know, a lot of guys don't wear makeup primer, so they've never felt that sort of like silicone-y texture, but it's actually something a lot of them enjoy. So if you have someone in your life who you're trying to like bring over to the sunscreen side, like the good side, from the evil side, I would totally pick up the Supergoop Unseen Sunscreen. And then lastly, I do have a few hair care products and kind of like hair accessories that I definitely want to recommend. So first up is the Briogeo Scalp Revival. They're calling it the Charcoal and Tea Tree Build Up Detox Spray. And I don't like love when a company advertises themselves as like detox, because it's not like your scalp is filled with toxins or anything, but I think this product is really cool and very special. It is a pre-wash, and like I think people are more coming around to the idea of pre-washes, which are basically treatments that you put in before you get in the shower. So you would apply this to your scalp like 15 minutes before. I'll stand back here. It's like a spray. Woo. Smells really nice actually, but you basically like part your hair in a bunch of places and spray it onto the scalp. And the whole point of this is to break down excess debris that has kind of accumulated on your scalp, whether that is sebum, so the oil that your scalp naturally produces but can build up in some people, whether that's dandruff or other types of like scale, if it's product buildup. This has salicylic acid as well as lactic acid, so a beta hydroxy acid as well as an alpha hydroxy acid. I think there's also some PHAs in here that really just help break down that scale. And I love that you put this in, leave it on for 15 minutes, and then get in the shower to use it. I love that as a dermatologist because I find that so many people use dandruff shampoos or detox products or things to break down scale, but they actually don't let it sit on their scalp long enough to be effective. So I feel like Briogeo's done something smart here, which is basically teach people how to use a product and give them a product that is meant to be used before the shower so that they actually get the contact time with their scalp that they need to break down that debris effectively. So if you're someone who has like a dry, itchy scalp, or like if you scratch your head and you see flakes, or you feel like there's stuff building up under your nails, or you just feel like your scalp is not clean, I really like this. I also love that it uses chemical exfoliation and there's not a lot of like grit in here or anything that's going to kind of abrade the scalp. So if you have a really sensitive scalp, I think this is also appropriate, and I've recommended this to a lot of patients. Another product that I pick up at the sale, because it tends to be a little pricier, is the Kerastase Cement Thermique. This is a heat protectant, kind of like a blow dry lotion. If you watched my travel hair care video, you know I have like a mini one of these that I also travel with. I just apply it to my damp hair, rake it through kind of like mid shafts to ends, and then I will do my blow dry. And I find that it is really nice for decreasing frizz, making the hair feel silky smooth but not weighed down or heavy. I have really fine hair, and as I've gotten older I've lost some of that hair, and so I'm very selective with what oils or like heat protectants I use because I don't want it to make my hair look greasy or feel unstylable. Like I still want to have volume and my hair to feel very touchable, and so I'm like a huge fan of this. I think it's amazing. Ooh, and then the other thing I would pick up when it comes to hair are all of the like travel sized minis. I stock up every year on these because I feel like otherwise they're not a very good deal. But the Oribe, the fine hair mist, I don't have any of them in front of me because they're literally packed in my luggage to go to Japan with me. So the Oribe hairspray, like visually like going through, the Living Proof dry texturizing spray, and then the Living Proof dry shampoo. Those are kind of like the three aerosol things that come as minis and I get during the Sephora sale pretty much every year. Okay, the last product that I'm going to recommend getting during the Sephora sale is by Crown Affair. Honestly, Crown Affair can like do no wrong in my eyes. I love their aesthetic, I love their products, I love the scent of their products, but like the two kind of accessories that I would pick up from them are, I brought it down here from my bathroom, is their huge like towel that you use for your hair, especially if you have long hair or if you have thick hair or curly hair. This is so absorbent and just absorbs so much water out of your hair that it makes blow drying or even air drying afterward faster. And then I would totally grab their hair clips. You're gonna look at these hair clips and be like, this is too expensive for a hair clip, but I can tell you, like, they are amazing clips. They just came out with this Carrera color, which now that I'm holding this up, might only be available on the Crown Affair website. But the reason I like these clips so much is because they have these like inner teeth that really help grip your hair. If you have fine hair or really straight, silky hair, like, you know the struggle of trying to clip your hair back, and these are just amazing. I have them in like the tortoiseshell as well, but then as soon as they came out with this white color, I was like, yes, I need that too. If when I go to post this, the white ones are only available on the Crown Affair website, I do have a Crown Affair code that I expect will probably still be active when I post this video, so I'll include that in the description box below. Okay, those are my Sephora sale recommendations. I hope this was helpful. I know I get a bit chatty when I talk about products, but I'm passionate, and I also want you to understand, not that I just like a product, but why, like what about it actually like gets me to enjoy it and to feel confident recommending it to you guys. So if you're still with me watching at this moment, thank you so much for your support and for being here. I would love for you to share what you are picking up at the Sephora sale in the comments below, because I want to know what else I'm like forgetting. But anyway, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you next time.